once again, we're here. Another last Thursday of a month.
Yes, sir.
And we started just a tad bit, behind time, but we're right on time. This is Man in the Mirror. And the because it's a personal journey. And as usual, we share the panel before we get to our prestigious guests. And we have a great one for tonight and a great title. But I'm going to let the host of the night introduce all that. But I'm going to introduce this guy to my left, the distinguished. You say he love when you say it, but it fits him fine. The distinguished Mr. Rodney Grimes.
Hey, everybody y'all should be throwing flowers in there. But being that I'm actually the main host tonight, right? Is my show.
That's right.
So that means we should have went to the real distinguished gentleman to my left, Mr. Nate Jenkins.
I'll take that. I'm gonna take that. I know we got an illustrious guest here, but I'm gonna let Rodney introduce her.
No, not yet.
Not yet?
You supposed to introduce me. You forgot to play.
Look, he done forgot
the quarterback, the point guard, my bad, Mr. Bouger.
Mr. Drew.
Next time I throw an alley-oop and he miss it,
you know what I'm saying?
You gonna make some run some
left.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, well, guess
we
what?
talking about that.
That's what it's all about. Our health is our wealth, and that's what we're talking about. So
is that the title tonight?
Yes, sir.
Health is our wealth.
Health is our wealth.
Okay.
And with that said, that's part of the reason why we have the guest that we have tonight. We have a young lady just here that's, as you just can tell just by the way she carries herself, but she is the health. The health and the wealth.
Okay.
Miss Andrea Elliott.
How
you doing? And we're going to also have joining in by phone is going to be Mr. and Mrs. Miss Faustine King and Mr. Charles King. They're going to be calling in as well.
Okay.
So they'll be joining us.
So all these people, that's for the viewers. All these people, they practice this as their lifestyle, right?
Yes.
So they have experience with making their health their wealth.
And matter of fact, that's what I want to just go straight to Miss Andrea and have her to tell a little bit about yourself, how you got to the point of making your health your wealth.
So, for me, after babies and surgeries and everything else, it got to the point to where I found myself at my whole 5'2" being around 240 pounds, unhealthy, borderline diabetic, and wanting to just kind of get myself back into being able to keep up with my kids. It started off with something as simple as that. After years of being in an abusive marriage and everything else, it took me to the point to where I just was so down and out about things that it was easier to just kind of eat my feelings and all those other things. And then I ended up being so unhealthy one way to unhealthy the other way. I was 105 pounds soaking wet, starving myself to death, diagnosed anorexia, all that other stuff. And then so to turn it around, getting into bodybuilding and fitness really gave me an avenue to sit there and keep myself accountable for eating the right things, getting in the gym and making my health a priority. And so I started after I kind of got to a certain point with some mentors through the gym about, hey, do you want to compete? And I was like, what are you talking about? And so that led me into the NPC to do women's figure and bodybuilding. And so I competed for a few shows, ended up with a nasty horseback riding accident, fractured my back. And then this year, after all of my rotator cuff surgery, all that other stuff, I'm making my comeback to come back and compete in the NPC this year. So it'll be it's interesting, but it's so I started working with a supplement brand, and it was through that it's given me a platform to really try to empower people to take their health seriously, and if they have questions, ask those questions, go to their physicians, start with the most basic of things, going and getting your physical, going and getting your blood work done, and then starting from there and making a plan and making a lifestyle change, not a fad diet, not a quick fix. It's changing your life for the better to be nice and healthy, and that's kind of where I'm at now.
Excellent.
That's amazing. So basically, going through this process, you had to get mentally prepared for this.
Most definitely. There was work not only with the regular doctor, that going in and having the physicals and everything else, but there was going in and there was going and seeing, the therapist and working through those things in life that you go through that, trigger, because I'm a very, very firm believer in the fact that mental health and physical health are tied hand in hand.
Yes.
And if you're not right up here, you're not going to be right anywhere else. And that's, a lot of the problems was, you stop taking care of yourself. When mentally you don't feel well, physically you don't feel well, so that drive and determination to get up and go to the gym, or to eat the right things. I'm thankfully not a sweets eater, but I have several friends and family members that they eat their feelings, they're stressed out, they're whatever, and they go to those go-to things, and that's part of it. So if you're not right up here, then everything else, it just makes it really hard to follow suit with that. So health, mental health, physical health is hand in hand, and you can't do one without the other.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
That's definitely true.
There's a lot of, I'm glad you stated that, because in my walk, I have a lot of daughters, right? I got 10 daughters, right?
Wow.
And all various shapes, sizes throughout their life. And over the last 3 years, they've all have been on this health kick.
Mm-hmm.
One daughter joined the gym, and her results were so fabulous that her other sisters joined the gym, the same gym. Now they're all looking like model quality, right? And they're just moving. But one thing I noticed was the mental aspect of it, right? And I look at my own journey and the others in my life. I come from a family of obese people that eat to their feelings,
Yeah.
but don't realize they eat to their feelings, right? It just becomes, I'm this way, and the closest thing to me feeling different. I'm not feeling better, but just different. I don't have to focus on that thing. I can eat this cupcake, or I like these sweets, or whatever. So they have gotten not their diet, just their dietary pieces right,
Yeah.
but had a couple of them, do the mental health piece. And I know they got a new diet out now that combines, some of the mental health pieces along with the therapeutic piece.
Yeah.
And, all those things are different. That's all commercialized or whatever. But I do know that for me, whenever there's a challenge, right, specifically relationship related, I can work out.
That's probably our other guest calling in.
Okay, we tell me.
Hello, family. You with Man in the Mirror. Who do we have on the line?
Hi, King and Charles King.
Okay,
Well, good afternoon, King family. Welcome to Man in the Mirror.
this is our other guest.
These are our other
These
guests.
are our other guests. I got it.
Okay.
I'm with it. So since we have you here, you want to allow the King family to introduce themselves and give us who you are, how you got to where you are with the
Health and wealth.
Okay, well, I'll let Charles start first. So, hey everyone, how's everyone doing today?
We're doing great.
Hey, Charles, I like the way you just flow right in there, boy. They'll put us, they'll tell us what we gotta do, though.
You got a voice for radio, baby.
Go ahead, Charles.
I am motivated. You all are saying a mouthful there. I am Charles King and my wife Faustine King. And you all are speaking the truth. And it makes a difference. And like you said, it is a lifestyle change. This is not I'm going to do this for a week, or this is my New Year resolution for what? A month or a couple of days. I mean, that's why it's called a lifestyle change. And it's either you're going to do it or you're not. But
Come on,
you
Charles.
feel better. And you don't know that you don't feel better until you feel better.
But that's one of the things that we all have to think about. And when we've been talking, and even with my wife and I, you have to get your mental thoughts in order for you to start to change the physical. Because if you are not mentally grounded and focusing, it's going hard to get to the point where you can maintain your regimen as you move forward.
It's hard to say no to that cupcake.
It's very hard to say no to that cupcake.
Especially when that's a pattern that we always do. That became a lifestyle without us knowing it.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
smoking.
Yeah, it became a lifestyle without us knowing it. Because when you say lifestyle, and everybody I know will agree, you're talking about this is what I do on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
This is part of who I am.
Exactly.
It's not that I'm making myself do this. This is what I do. This is who I am.
And actually, I think that even, and I'm speaking from experience, a lot of times when you are not focused, you're dealing with different physical and mental situations, food is like the drug. And you have a tendency to start eating all these things that you really shouldn't be eating, but your body is calling for it. So many of us, as I believe Mr. and Mrs. King, y'all have changed your whole eating regimen, correct?
Oh yeah, we went straight plant-based. And the funny part, it's so funny, people say, man, you're going to eat all that rabbit food. Well, gorillas eat that food too, and they strong as I don't know what. A rhino eat that food too, and they strong as I don't know what. Some of the biggest, strongest animals eat just a plant-based diet. So yeah, we did a drastic change and went straight plant-based. And I don't know, we feel a lot better, to tell you the truth. Minds aren't as clouded. We just more energetic. Man, it's just like I said, you don't know that you don't feel good until you feel good. And Rodney, I was a gym rat, and I was eating okay, and I thought I was eating good, but I was just eating okay. But now that I've switched to a plant-based diet, it's a whole different feeling.
And so, being that we have the two ladies participating on the program today, Andrea, I would like to ask you first. Is it a difference with your way that you have to train and you have to take care, because it's harder for women to lose the weight versus men, or is it vice versa?
So men typically lose the weight easier because when you have the husband and wife and you're doing the let's everybody lose weight, and then the wife gets mad because the husband's not doing anything and the weight's going away. Yeah. So typically men are able to lose it a lot faster. But for me, as far as once everything is working the way that it's supposed to, and I don't know how Faustine's eating, but for me, for my style of training, I'm eating 7 to 8 meals a day. I'm eating every 2.5 to 3 hours because I need to keep fuel in the tank. I'm eating small meals, I'm eating clean meals. They're on solely plant-based. I do eat, all my stuff is pretty much whole foods, proteins, everything's organic, grass-fed, stuff like that. So I'm taking the extra time to make sure that my proteins are sourced well so that they're not full of chemicals and antibiotics and all that other stuff. And so, because I noticed when I was eating that stuff that was mass-produced with all that stuff in it, the fillers, the additives, the antibiotics and all that I did not feel well. Joint aches and pains, bloating. I was having a really hard time, and I also had my thyroid was completely thrown out of whack. And so you just don't realize, and like he said, you don't realize that there's a problem because everything becomes normal. And so, I couldn't lose the weight. I was doing all the right things, and then it's like, get the doctor in, get the diet on point, get the exercise program, and all that stuff goes in. And so now I can eat whatever I want. But my choices are different now, because before, when I was overweight, I'd reach for the cupcake. And it wasn't that I really liked sweets. But now, if someone was to offer me a slice of cheesecake or a nice big old steak, I'm gonna take the steak all day long because one, I don't crave the sugar anymore because I weaned myself off of it. But the other thing is I know that if I eat that slice of cheesecake, that I'm gonna feel horrible mentally and physically because I ate it. It's gonna make me sick. I'm gonna have an insulin spike and I'm gonna literally feel sick. But the other thing is I know that the next day I'm gonna have to go into the gym because mentally I'm gonna beat myself up because I just ate something I knew that I shouldn't have. So, and then the weight's not gonna come off because I'm gonna mess with my metabolism. Now the way I can eat whatever I want, but I just make better choices because I don't have those cravings I used to.
And Faustine.
Yes.
And so with you, with your transition with the, with, you know, changing from your diet, how did it affect you mentally?
Mentally, actually, the fogginess in your mind and everything, it clears up. But actually, let me just start back in February. When I was just going through YouTube, just watching some videos, and I came across Dr. Bobby Price. And he had a book called Vegetation Over Medication. But the YouTube video was The Food is Killing You, right? So I was sitting there just listening to him and stuff like that, and I was telling my husband, I said, wow, Charles, we need to do this detox, right? And what he was actually talking about, because I know it's different levels of being a vegetarian, vegan, plant-based. And with his plant-based, it was just straight fruits, vegetables, grains, and seeds. So what we did for 28 days, we did a detox, a tea detox. And what that did, that removed like the candidas, the different parasites, and the mucus in your body, and a tummy detox as well. So within 28 days, I lost like 18 pounds. Okay,
Man.
I went from 172 to 150 something, whatever. But one thing he did say was this, is that a lot of people are walking around with 10 to 25 pounds of fecal matter in their intestines. And I'm going to tell you this, with that, when people say you're full of SHIT,
It's true. It's true, bro.
when you go through this process with this cleansing, it's removing all of that. And for me, I had a allergic reaction to certain fruits. Okay, once I ate them, my tongue would start itching, like strawberry, peaches. I couldn't eat any of the good stuff. So after 28 days of detox, my husband Charles was saying, "Faustine, why don't you try some fruit?" And I was like, "Nah, I didn't really feel like my tongue itching, right? I just didn't want to go through the experience." So I was like, "Oh, forget it, whatever." I ate some strawberry, nothing happened. I was like, "Wow." I ate some apples, nothing happened. Peaches, nothing happened. So whatever's in our body, it's like being a cleansing, serious cleansing. So for me, we feel much healthier. We're eating. My thing, I didn't want to retire to, go into. I wanted to enjoy my life, and I have cholesterol problems, but it's clearing up because of my diet. Okay, so let me say that. My doctor didn't want me to take the cholesterol, wanted me to continue to take the cholesterol statin, but I just stopped it on my own. Okay, because of the side effects. Because when you take statin, it messes up your kidneys.
Kidneys, yeah.
So I just stopped doing that. But one thing I do stand on is this. In Psalms 104:14, it says that he causes the grass to grow for the cattle and the herbs for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth. And in that it's telling us this: if the herbs are the service to man, that means it provides healing to our bodies with our fruits and our vegetables and so forth. And one more thing, I'm not going to keep running my mouth, I'm going to let Charles talk, is this. In our body, if we believe in the word and it says that we were made from the dust of the earth, when the farmers, when they plant, they have to have a pH balance in the soil, okay? And it has to be a certain pH balance. If that's where we came from, we have to have the same type of pH balance, be it alkaline or so forth, so that the healing may come forth. Because we have to give our bodies an environment to heal, meaning we have to eat the right fruits, vegetables, grains, seeds, so our body can restore. And even with eating fruits and vegetables, when we understand what fruits and vegetables are, the fruit, it does a flushing and a cleaning of your body, and the vegetables heal your body. So when we get to an understanding of how our body works and what we need to do, you know, to keep ourselves in a more healthier state. You know, as my husband say, people say, yeah, you got to die for something. But what I don't want to die from is a heart attack, stroke, diabetes, and none of that. So let me be quiet because I will keep talking.
Hey, before, thank you, ladies. Before we get to Charles, I just wanted to, I was thinking while she was sharing and quoting some scriptures, right? One of the movies that I like, and I'm a promoter, I don't care, is The Chosen. One of the series, I love it, because I love Christ. So, I mean, I love that movie. It's one of the best, you know, prediction of him that I ever seen, you know. But I noticed that they were throwing fruit to him. That was their food. And they said breakfast time, and they throw each other a fruit. The guys will go get the fruit, and that's what they were eating. They was eating fruit more than anything on the show, and that was their breakfast. Everybody got a couple, maybe one. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many, but I know they was only having one apiece at first. They was throwing them. There go your breakfast, Peter. There go your breakfast, Simon. You know, and so there's a lot to that, man. I mean, my toes hurting. I don't know about nobody else. Right? Stepped on my toes.
No, I mean, but and even me, I'm in a situation that a lot of times when I be talking to the public, I try to let people know that I'm talking from experience. So I'm struggling in some areas, health-wise, and so and what I do, and this is what happened when I concentrate and I start to eat right and start cutting out a lot of nonsense. I start to feel better. I start to think better. During the process of what I'm exposed to, I pick up these bad habits. So like you were saying earlier about we run to the cupcakes and things like that, those things is that drug that's in us. And that the mind will start to tell you, well, you know, when I get a little frustrated, well, go get a piece of cake, you know, or I get a piece of cake and it end up being 3 slices, you know, and then some ice cream behind it.
Have too.
You know what I mean? And then I'm not feeling too well.
Well, that's what they were saying is a lifestyle before. Charles, we ain't forgot about you, baby. They say it's a lifestyle. And that's what we want. I know I want to hear more about how they maintain a lifestyle because, you know, they heard this before. I'm pretty sure you have, Rodney, that if you do anything consistently for 30 days, it becomes a habit.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it said 21.
Well, here's something I want to throw out. The process, right, to starting a healthy way of living or anything, you know, we talked about the mental health aspect of it and then the physicality aspect of it and now the spiritual nature of it. But there is a process to all of it, the starting point, right?
Yeah.
And for me, you know, I'm a former athlete, right? So, you know, played football all the way through college, boxed for 11 years, all that good stuff. And I'm 62 years old. I still do 4 miles every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But they're not running miles. They're 2 walking, 2 running, right? And former paraplegic, wheelchair, 18 months, all that good stuff, paralyzed, waist down. Don't have much of an intestinal tract or gut. So the things that you guys talk about are somewhat relevant to me because I can't digest fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
I don't have that ability. But what I do know, and some other walks of my life have taught me that I can't fake my way into a new way of being.
Yeah, I gotta live my way.
I gotta live my way into a new way of thinking.
Yes, sir.
So if I'm listening right now thinking, well, I need to go get some mental health counseling, or I need to start praying a lot before I start exercising and all that, that may be a misnomer. Because if you start to take care of yourself physically, your mental will catch up. But if you're trying to start off on the mental side thinking your physical will catch up, it ain't gonna happen.
Hey,
It ain't
Charles,
gonna happen.
we don't want to leave you out. Thank you. Like that's a good point.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
That was very important.
That's a great point, and you stuck the landing.
Yeah.
What you got to say, Charles?
You know, hey, that was good, brother, and I admire you for how you think. But for me, it wasn't a hard change for me. So for about a decade and a half, I was already a pescatarian. I only ate fish, and of course fruits and vegetables. So it just eventually I just ended up coming off the fish and went straight plant-based. So how did I start? It's funny, since I was a kid, when I see my ancestors have ailments in their lives, whether it's diabetes, whether it's a stroke, whatever, I always ask them, what happened, Grandma? How'd you get that? And they explain to me how they got it. So I started making a mental check. Now, so I was already there mentally as a young kid. I would start making this mental scratch off my list of things that I don't need to eat a whole lot of food list. And that's kind of how it coming transitioning into this. So the changeover for me, and like my wife said, we did the 28-day detox. And I said, well, babe, I'm just going to do a full 30 and do the full month. And I was cool with it. I was comfortable with it. So it was it did mentally, I was okay with it. And since I've cleared myself out, I'm not interested in, and I used to love the cheesecakes and the ice creams and all of those comfort foods and everything. But, I had to kind of sit back and look at, I'm like, okay, I didn't eat like this with all of these sweets at first. Now all of a sudden, why am I eating like this? So that I had to adjust to that, which was easy. I didn't have a problem with that. I just went cold turkey, and we haven't turned back. Now I want to say this: for the plant-based, we've only been plant-based for what, babe? 2 months, 2 to 2.5 months. Yeah. And we bypass when we go in the grocery store. We bypass all of the preservatives and all of the snack aisles, and we bypass those and don't even go down them because there's nothing down there that interests us. And hold on, Faustine had something else to say.
Tell my part, Charles, as he said, he was only eating fish. But for me, I was eating the chicken and so forth and so on. And then after that, when I met him, I just started eating just fish. Now, when we went into this 28 days, for me, just eating straight vegetables and fruit, that was kind of hard for me. But, again, like he said, it's mind over matter. I had to set in my mind, this is what I'm going to do. And we did do it. And for that, like Rodney, another thing with the sugar and stuff, sugar is it's worse than heroin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's an addiction. That's why in everything that they make, they process, it has added sugars in it. So that's always running through your body. And another thing I want to say that, like Charles was saying, he would look at his family members and see they were sick. But if you go back in the day, I'll be 62 in June, and we didn't hear about cancer. We may heard maybe 1 or 2 people had cancer. Now everybody has it. So now we have to think, what is the common denominator here? You know, the common denominator is the food. What foods are we eating? Because, you know, we got people dying of diabetes, stroke, of heart attack. We go to the funeral, and then what we do, we leave the funeral, we go back to the reception, and we eat the same thing that put that person in the casket. And that's what we have to do. We have to look at, you know, our junk food, and what do we need to survive. And like I say, for me, it's a life change. Like Charles said, I'm not going to step into this and cleanse my body out and go and step right back into the same trap, you know, and have the same issues.
Yeah. Hold on just a second. We got some comments.
From Della Johnson. She says it's expensive eating a plant-based diet.
She said
That
it
was
is.
Yeah, she said, is
She
it?
said-
Or she asked us a
she
question.
said
Saying it is.
It is.
It
Well,
is.
let me jump in on that one.
Yeah, that one's a tough one because
That's a misnomer.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about expense, right? Because we are kind of monolithic thinkers, right? We look at the one thing in front of us and not the entire picture, right? So when I say for me, I do plant-based shakes because I can't digest
the way or the case
the
of
way that
protein,
it is,
yeah.
right? So I do a lot of supplements and I do plant-based powders, proteins, and the like, right? I do cachava.
Yeah.
I'm a cachava nut, right? I do cachava twice a day, and then I eat a meal, you know, but it's a meat-based meal because that's what I have to process, right? But I don't eat processed foods. I don't eat processed meats, things of that nature. But I used to say things like, I'm not shopping at Whole Foods, they too expensive. Or I'm not going to buy or go on a plant-based diet because if I just do that, I'm looking at the receipt from the grocery store. But if I look at it from a whole picture, I get less trips to the doctor,
Yeah.
which means I don't spend as much gas. I don't have as many co-pays.
Come on.
I don't buy as much
Yeah.
medication. So when it's just like expenses when you say it's expensive to hold this house down. Well, you gotta look at the utilities. You gotta look at electric gas, the whole load of it to say what it cost you.
So you're basically in reverse in this, and you're not looking at the forest. You're looking at the tree. The
Exactly.
The tree is the plant-based diet. And in the moment, the expense is what you're looking at. But if you broaden that whole picture out and you look at the forest and you say, okay, well, I'm not having to pay all this, all these other fees for all this different stuff. I mean, on average, if you've got all these other health conditions and you're sitting here and your least expensive copay on a prescription medication is $10, $15 every month. But the other thing is are you going to Starbucks? And are you
Right.
paying $7 for a coffee?
Right.
Are you, are you
eliminate
going?
all that stuff.
Yeah. Are you going out to dinner and are you going to a restaurant for you and your significant
yeah.
other and it's $50 or $60 for a meal? So if you just cut out those other things like that, it pays for it.
It
Not
pays
only
for itself.
it more than pays for
More than
itself.
pay for itself.
And like Andrea, before we got before we got on camera, Charles and Faustine, before you guys called and before we got on the camera, me and Andrea we were conversing and we talked about if you're not here, you ain't got to worry about paying.
Yeah.
Huh? If you're not,
You know what the most expensive part of your diet is?
Funeral.
Your funeral. That's the most expensive part of your diet.
Come on.
Now the difference to that is, for those of us who have not saved for that plot, who don't have life insurance, but you worried about what a plant-based diet costs you, ask yourself, how soon is that funeral gonna happen? Basis how you're living now.
what the price gonna be for
The price gonna be
Yeah.
for that stroke, that heart attack, and those things that, one of the biggest ailments that we can avoid today is diabetes.
And
It
don't
is a
know about you
lifestyle.
guys.
It's a
I don't know-
lifestyle choice.
I don't know about you guys, because we got to remember the viewers. I don't know about y'all out there, but this is a very powerful segment.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is this is life and death.
Yes. This is all about if you really care about yourself, and you talking about living a good life, Faustine, you said something. You didn't retire, and I've heard you say this before, but you didn't retire to suffer or to just come home and die. You retired so you can enjoy your life. Now, a lot of us, all of us in this room, all of us are at least over 30 years old.
Yes.
Okay?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
You already said 62. You already outed yourself.
I'm only 29 and a half.
But what I was saying is, you got to start investing in your future for longevity. And if you're going to be concerned about what you're doing that's costing you financially, that's not going to benefit your future when you get up in age, you got to rethink that whole thing.
Well, Rodney, the name of the segment is what?
Your health,
Your health is your wealth.
And
So let's talk about wealth for a second.
On that note, I want to do a shout out because I'm thinking about my friend Basie. You know Billy Bates. My friend Basie, his significant other. When I met her name Bella. When I met Bella, she does all. She's a vegan, and she's in good shape. She's in good shape. I'm pretty sure she don't just indulge in that sweets and none of that either. And I was wondering, I said, "Dang, they took me to a vegan place one time, and it wasn't that bad. It wasn't.
But that's what Charles, that's what you and Faustine was talking to us about. The changing of the food, that the food, when you change it, it's not just so much what it is, but you can season food a certain way to supplement.
It tastes bad.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you was telling us?
But your taste buds are programmed.
Yeah, they program.
You got to understand
They
that your taste buds are programmed, right? So the lifestyle has to be reprogrammed like everything else.
right.
But the point that I was making about health is your wealth. When you're thinking about wealth, you're thinking about a monetary factor in your life, right? That's the first thing that comes to somebody's mind when you say wealth.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at it, the most wealthiest people make great investments. And they get a great ROI, a return on their investment.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really investing in your health, the wealth is the return on investment of a higher quality of lifestyle, which in the long term costs you less, which allows you to save more and have more expendable dollars going forward, which builds your bank account.
To do more things.
Well, not only that, but it gives you the ability to do these things financially. So
what I'm saying.
great health increases to great wealth, in line with what the segment is talking about, right?
Yeah.
So they coincide. They
Right.
coincide is the point that I'm making.
So I for over a decade was in the medical field, and I can sit there and tell you from patients coming in who were, one medication a month is, anywhere like $200-300, and they're sitting there and they're trying to figure out how to pay for it. Well, then you sit there and that's just something that's for like Faustine was saying with like the statins. The statins inherently make you feel horrible, and you start to take the statins, and then you have to start to take the CoQ10 to counteract the joint aches and pains and everything else. So now you have one thing that's causing another symptom, so you have to take something else, and it just keeps piling on. So now if you get your cholesterol down through a change in lifestyle, through a diet and exercise regimen, and you're sitting here and doing that, so now you're investing in yourself, you're physically well, you're mentally becoming better because you're not feeling physically, horrible, and you're being able to be more active, getting and doing things. You got more endorphins from exercising and all this other stuff. But then your bank account's growing and increasing, and so everything just is kind of falling into place. And I don't know, most people I think get to a certain breaking point, or there's a certain moment in their life when they decide to make that lifestyle change. And they remember that, and that's what they need to go back to. And for me, it was getting ready to go to Disney World, always have been an athlete my entire life, and then having 2 knee surgeries and everything else, and having to go shopping for a pair of shorts because we were going to Florida, and normally wearing like a size 2 or 3, having to buy a size 18 crying in the dressing room thinking, what have I done?
Oh my goodness.
And then trying to go to Disney with the family and keep up and do that, and
Not
then
feeling well about you.
and not feeling great because that's like the biggest I had ever been. But like that's the moment I go back to. At that point, it's like, okay, well, I never want to be there again. And so that's your marker. And whether they sit there and they start this transition and this change, and it's a sticky note on the mirror, or for me, it's a picture. I have a picture from when I was at my heaviest, and I get up every morning, and it's right there as a reminder of where I was at, and then where I'm at now. And so it's...
I want the viewers to hear this. This is people with experience. Something she said, and then you just remind me again of what you said earlier. You said you got somebody to show you how to do this. You had got a guide.
Yeah, so...
When you first started.
I did. So I tried to do it on my own.
Right.
And, you know, I could only do so much. And then at that point in time, it was enlisting the appropriate help that was going to listen to the things that I had going on physically with my injuries and physically with my medical conditions to make the best plan that was custom to me. You know, you can go out there and you can go online and you can hire some online coach that gives you some cookie cutter thing that's the same to everything else, and then you're going to get a diet that's horrible, that doesn't work for you, your body type, your nutrition. They can give you a workout regimen and you can follow it to a T. But if they're not really like taking that time and investing their time in you, because you are a reflection of their work.
Tailor-made for you.
Yes, and so then it ends up not working for you, and then you get discouraged, and then you are back in that vicious cycle of, all right, now I'm back at the food that I know I'm not supposed to eat, because then, you know, you start to go down that rabbit hole of, well, I was trying, but it didn't work, so kind of what's the point? And you forget why you started, and that's when you have to go back to that Post-it note, that picture, that moment,
Right.
and keep reminding yourself of why you're doing it, and then the end goal. Have a starting point, check yourself along the way, but remember where you started, and then you're golden.
So what I hear you say is, in a metaphoric way, is that the same mind that created the problem can't be the same mind that fixed the problem.
Now I want y'all to elaborate. I got to quarterback a little bit. I want to elaborate on the maintenance, on the maintaining of this new lifestyle.
But before we get to the maintenance, you got to start it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But hold on, I want to just piggyback. She said something real prevalent. She had an inflection point in her life, right? An inflection point that was a critical piece of her life that she now uses for fuel.
So
for me, and a lot of people, it is an injury of some sort. She talked about the injury of her psyche.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
A lot of people I know in my lifetime, it ain't just me. I'm sure some listeners out there that I know it's in my family, because I watch my daughters go through this too. It sometimes can be a relationship.
Whatever it is.
Oh,
right?
Definitely.
So lose a relationship that you felt was something that you was dear to, right?
Yeah.
And that person, for whatever reason, decided, I don't want to do this. Well, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
And the next time I see you,
Yeah.
you're going to see me totally different than what I was.
So basically, what you're saying is, whatever it is that motivates you, do it. But the important part is, somebody has to show us how to do this. Like Charles.
Right. That's what I was getting ready to go.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to go.
Need that help.
I wanted to go to Charles and Faustine and ask, when that's is it y'all actually piggyback off of each other as y'all move forward to get into the rhythm of doing what you're doing today?
Well, yeah, that support system is really good. But, you know, just listening there, where do you start? You know, that's the thing that happened, because for me, it was like, okay, so what am I going to eat? Especially if I'm just doing vegetable, fruits, and seed and grain. What am I going to eat? So what happened, you know, we can never, in this society, this information society now, you know, everything is on YouTube. So what I did, I went and, researched some of the vegan YouTube, where one guy, his name is, Manny, Many, and he does the preparation and the seasonings and what you do for vegan and the amount that you put in. He does it step by step. So what I started doing was like looking at these different challenges. So number one, if you can cook, you can make it taste the way you would like it to taste. Because number one, even with any kind of pork, beef, chicken, whatever, if you don't put any seasoning on it, you would not eat it. So we only eat for seasoning. So what I have done, I made some poor barbecue, okay, but I made it from jackfruit, you know. I made
Interesting.
some stir fry that I made from oyster mushroom, and I mean it tastes just like.
Go ahead, Faustine. Go ahead, Faustine.
I was gonna say, and we do for us sometimes when we don't feel like eating the beef, we take the big portobello mushrooms and season them and put them on the grill, and it's like a steak replacement. They're delicious.
She was sharing that with us. Charles, that's what y'all was talking about when y'all was saying that you can actually cook the mushroom and it tastes like a steak.
It is.
What?
Taste and look exactly like steak.
So for our viewers who are out there just struggling,
Priceless.
you got to understand something. First of all, and that's part of the reason why we have the programs that we have, Man in the Mirror, the People program, and several others. It's all about getting the natural information for you to learn how to move in the direction to make your life change and things that you need to do. We have our guests today, Charles and Faustine King and Andrea Elliott, who they're living this.
Yeah.
And I saw you saw when Andrea, I'm pronouncing it right?
You're good.
When she took the guns out.
When she took the guns out, man, I was like, yo, she made me didn't want to even show mine. I was like,
Do you put your long sleeve down in
you know, and that makes you start to realize, and believe it or not, Charles and Faustine are the same way. We just saw them recently. Charles is my age, or maybe a couple of years younger, but he got the body of like a 30-year-old. I mean, he don't have any fat on him. He's strong as a mule, and we just looking at Faustine as well. And here my wife and I, we would sit back and we was thinking, we was looking at each other. Now, okay, I'm not going to talk about my wife because I will get in trouble, but I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with, with the stomach. I'm having problems getting rid of it. I'm having problems sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
My thinking is not.
Listen to what he's saying then. Say it again.
It's my stomach.
No.
No.
Say the whole statement.
No.
I want you to start it with that first word.
Alright.
There you go. So, as what Ms. Andrea has stated, and what Boo had alluded to, and I said, the same mind that got you here
Okay, right.
can't be the one that gets you where you're trying to go.
That
You
was
need to get some
the-
help.
That's
What you was
You need
saying.
to get some help.
That's what you were saying. You were saying you need to got. So let me jump in. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to say this. The gentleman who was supposed to be in the program today, he wasn't able to make it, but I wanted to do a shout out to him for this reason. Mr. Horace Williams. He was the one day called me and he said, Rodney, I'm just going to tell you straightforward. He said, man, you're a sharp dressing brother. He said, but you got to do something about your health. And I know why he said that, because he saw me standing up and he saw my stomach.
He didn't see you with your shirt off, did
Huh? I ain't let him see that. I couldn't let him see that. But I went. He called me and he specifically said to me, "Your health is your wealth." And
that's
Andrea
what prompted you to come up
you
with
reached
that
out.
title.
You reached out to me today or yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
And I've been seeing you also on Facebook, and I've been knowing that you've been taking care of yourself. And when you said we really need to do a program about this, which this is what the Man in the Mirror show is, one of the shows that really matters, that bring you this type of information.
Yeah.
That we don't fabricate stuff. We talking about, you seeing the prime example, I have a gut. and if she showed them guns she got packing over there, you'll see that she's putting in that work. And if you saw Faustine and Charles, you will also know that.
Well, I can say this for the panel that's here today, the host. If we was to change the name, it could be Three Gut Men.
Wait.
I know. Wait. Why today we're gonna come in? You gonna come in?
They ain't going. They don't like that.
Three Gut Men.
And I'll send you. And Rodney, I'll send you some photos.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey Rodney, look, and I'm gonna tell you, I love this talk right here, and it seems like we're all on the same page. It's a mindset thing. You need to change your mindset. Like the brother said, same mind that got you out of shape is not the one that's gonna get you in shape or keep you in shape.
That's right.
And you gotta look at life a little bit different. Like we were talking about, people looking at, man, that type of diet is too expensive. Well, yeah, medication and doctor offices a bit.
Come on, man.
So you got to choose which one you want, and that's the mindset. It's the way you look at it. If you look at it like it's a problem with the diet, then it is a problem. If you look at it like, if I make this change right here, and make little small increments, like a baby, take baby steps. Then nobody say just ready, set, go, and you sprinting that from the to the finish line. Just take little moderate steps to put you in that comfortable zone. You build that habit, then and challenge yourself, then the habit will eventually stick with you. Because we build all kinds of bad habits.
Come on, Charles.
Yeah.
Let me say this too. It's just like this. Your environment. Let's say I'm alcoholic. I'm not gonna go back into the liquor store because I want to keep drinking.
Same concept.
So sometimes it has to be in your home, and I can't say for us this is what we did. Okay, when we decided we're not eating all that junk that's in our pantry, so what we did, we took the food to a food bank. Okay, then I restocked our shelves. Okay, with what we need, with the food that we needed to eat. So you have to start somewhere. And I'm not saying anybody make this drastic change or anything, but that's how we started because our why, my why is like, I don't want cholesterol. When I stop the feelings and the pills and the side effects in your body, it's just like what you say, I don't want to go back to that feeling again. Just like when I stopped smoking cigarettes in 1990, that withdrawal feeling I felt, I said, I don't want to feel like that no more.
Yeah.
So I never picked another cigarette up. So we're going to have to do the same thing. I don't want this gut no more. You know, I can't eat sugar. Sugar's in everything.
Yeah. And you know, for Miss Faustine, and I can definitely relate because there's some lifestyle changes I made in my life, things I don't do that I used to do and all that, right? And use the same principles that you're talking about now. So now I got to apply those principles. I'm talking about me. If I don't want to be in the Three Gut Men show, if I don't want to be a part of that, I'm going to have to start applying those principles. And that's why this show is so important. Because first of all, I got to admit I have an issue. Mm-hmm. If I don't admit I have an issue, there's no reason for me to change anything.
No. Yeah.
So I got to do what Rodney did early. The first thing is I got a gut.
Yeah.
And I don't want it.
And that's where it starts at when you come to the reality of speaking truth. I don't know if that was you or somebody was talking to me and they were saying, don't lie to yourself.
Right.
Don't lie to yourself. You got to be honest. Mm-hmm. And you got to think about this. Here, I don't want to get in trouble again.
Oh.
But you know,
you don't get in trouble if you keep saying that.
No,
yeah,
but I'm talking about me. When and I know this for a fact. When my wife met me, I didn't have no stomach, and I was cut.
But she ain't get it to you though.
No, she didn't. But
let's get that out there. The way you put it up,
it almost sound like
baby, I ain't had no stuff.
What he tied off? I don't want to get nobody in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, no, but I'm not.
I mean this joke. Man.
Yeah, we just got you.
No.
We got you.
We had to
got
get you
you.
on that.
Rodney,
Yeah.
yes, she did. Say black women been killing their men for years.
Well, I'm gonna fight you on that one, Miss Foster.
I'm ready
Now,
to it.
you know what it is? And Charles said it earlier when he called that cupcake comfort food.
Yeah.
See, we classify things that aren't good for us in ways that we are compiling it, right?
Yeah. Like
So
a
if
spoiled
we-
child
Yeah.
is good.
Right. So
He's
if you
spoiled.
really told yourself the truth, that food ain't confident.
Right.
No.
Right.
It is avoidance.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well,
Because
and
it gives you a place to go when you're avoiding where you may need to go.
It does,
Seriously.
and the other thing that you can sit there and Rodney, this will go to you. Of there's it's like when people sit there and they like put things off in life. Oh, we're not gonna get married until this happens. We're not gonna have a kid until this happens. And like you're sitting there trying to set yourself up for, okay, this is when I'm gonna do this because this is gonna be the perfect moment where everything is just gonna work and fall into place. Not everything in the world isn't always going to be right.
No, it is
and
not.
you always are going to find yourself if stop moving the finish line. Like that's the whole thing, and that's what I've had to tell myself and to tell several friends. If you keep moving the start line, you can never get to the finish line. If your starting point is excuses
That's a good start on the job.
of the reasons why you can't do it. Try and tell yourself the reasons why you can do it. Change that mindset. Stop being such a pessimist and sit there and stop moving that start line, because the finish line's never attainable if you never start.
And see, the thing what Rodney was saying, and I got to go back quarterback again for a minute.
You can't win the race you never ran. Huh?
Exactly.
And I'm like, that's a prelude to what I'm getting ready to tell the audience. Listen, this program is designed to help. Period.
Yes.
And we bring people with experience.
Right.
See, and like Nate, when he just said that, if the person don't have experience, they can't talk about it. We hold up. Yes, they can. They can't talk about it.
There's
it
no
won't-
validity to
There's
it.
no validity to it. These people right here living what they're talking about.
Right.
And it's the same thing we was talking about in the about the alcoholism and everything else. It has more substance to it when somebody is actually went through the rocks and the gravel and all this stuff
and
then
lived it.
come out on the other side.
Well, and that's my thing is that, like, for people who are active in the gym and you have the New Year's resolutions, there are some people in the gym, and these are the ones that absolutely drive me nuts. Instead of encouraging those people who've made those resolutions, they have the mindset of, oh geez, here they are. It's January.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody would just take their hand and
Come on.
show them, because 9 times
Encourage.
out of 10, the reason why people stop going is because they feel judged,
Mm-hmm.
they are afraid to ask for help, and no one offers help. I'm here. You can share my contact information on social media. If anyone has any questions, if anyone needs, I have several people who are strangers that I don't even know other than social media who've reached out, who've said, hey, your transition has been an inspiration. How did you do it? And I check in on them frequently. They've started on their journey, and they get the accountability from me of, hey, how's your diet going this week? And it's not that I'm training them. It's not that I'm doing anything. It's just that they have somebody else who is a cheerleader in their corner, helping to sit there and push them to that goal. So when it's rough and it's bleak and they're not seeing the progress and they've hit that plateau with whatever their goal is, they just might need that extra little push to say, you're doing great, stick with it, it's gonna be worth it in the end. So you're more than welcome to put my stuff out there. I'll send you some photos of where exactly I started, and then they can see exactly
Okay.
where I'm at now.
And I want to add, hey, Faustine,
Yes.
thank you. Now, ask me why I'm saying thank you.
Why you saying thank you, Rodney?
Because that's exactly what you told me this morning when we were talking.
Mhm.
You were talking about the reason the encouragement that you was giving Zena and I to have us to make a change, not to. What did you tell me? Make it a priority. Make it.
Yes.
You remember having that conversation with me, right?
Yes, I did. And I said you're gonna have to know your why. And then when you know your why, you have to make it a priority, like with anything else you have. Because the thing about it, like I said, that I can't make anybody do anything. I can be here to support.
That's
You
it.
understand? But you just can't make people do. You have to have that will and that want to. You understand? To make changes. And like Charles said, nobody's saying make this big giant step, but make a step.
Make it happen.
Because
Yeah.
Absolutely.
a step, you can step forward into another. And then when you got people that's by your side, that's with you, that's willing to go with you, you can move even further.
So what I hear people saying is,
if you don't get started now, then when?
That's right.
that's what,
Go ahead,
that's what
Nick.
Andrea was saying.
whenever we talk about transformation, be it mentally, physically, or spiritually, the word lifestyle always is a dominant word, right? But when you break down lifestyle, we weren't born that way, so that's not life-ing. That's a lifestyle. That's a result of something, right? It's our life choices. So if you choose to do one thing, you have the ability, as long as you're breathing, to choose to do something different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
let me
lifestyle
ask you this,
changes
Nate.
starts with lifestyle choices.
Let me ask you this, Nate. There's three things that I know from experience is to for any change is the necessity for the cornerstone of the foundation of that change. What do you think those three things are, Mr.
Well,
Nate?
first you want to be able to identify
Mhm.
that there's a problem, right? Then you want to get some assistance with that problem. Then you want to be consistent in the changes necessary to resolve that problem.
Well, when I said that to you, it's something me and you always talked about.
Mhm.
That's also valid, but it's honesty.
Oh yeah, you got
First I gotta get honest.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah.
Right, and then
But he talked about lying, right?
and then I gotta be open minded.
Then you guys be willing.
And then the last thing,
You gotta be
I
willing.
gotta be willing to do it.
But see, start with that first one, honesty.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that we are predestined to do as humans is to feel all right.
Yeah.
I want to feel all right all the time.
Yeah.
That means lying and deceit is a mechanism that
That's
I
a
can
whole nother
use.
show, though.
Hold on, but let's say for the honesty piece, right?
Yeah.
I got to be dishonest before I can be honest.
Well, I gotta be honest about my dishonest.
Exactly. So I'm saying
change
to piggyback on what you're saying, when you took the photo of yourself, when I took the photo of myself in the mirror, I got to be honest and say I don't like what I see.
I didn't recognize
Right.
the person.
As
that
opposed
that
to-
was it. I did not recognize.
Like with Rodney in his gut going, I don't want to get nobody in trouble. I'm going to throw this a reason out there. Oh, no, I'm just kidding with you.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you start off with honesty,
Or
right?
Nate didn't want to say he had a gut.
No,
Right.
no,
Yeah.
he
He
didn't want to talk about his
He
Oh,
ain't
body.
I
want
got
to
a
be
gut.
He ain't want to be able to
It's some things that come along with my gut, though.
But hey, look, you
We
make
ain't
excuses
going
for
there.
that.
No excuse.
But-
I'm being honest now. I
You-
got
you-
you.
you
I
with the
need to
three
do
gut-
more work.
Are you with the three gut men?
Nah, man. Y'all
Yes,
got
sir.
you heard that show, 2.5 Men and 2.5 Guts. So here's the thing. Like you said, though, boo. If I'm honest with my situation, then I can be open to the help
Yeah.
that comes in. And because I'm open to the help that comes in, I can be willing to do whatever the help suggests me to do.
Yeah.
But it starts with me being gut honest.
Right. Yeah.
Because if you tell me I need to change, more than likely I'm not going to change.
No.
Yeah.
But if I tell myself I'm tired of my knees hurting, I'm tired of me having to wear another size clothing, I'm tired of not being able to dance around the floor like I used to, and more than anything, I'm tired of taking a little bit more lotion than it did before to put lotion on in the morning. Now,
That ain't more than
you know what I'm
anything.
saying?
You know.
More than anything, I look
anything.
in the mirror and I don't see myself
Yeah.
But hey, can I?
in the vein that I want to see myself.
Right, and
Yeah.
I want to go there because I got to bring this brother back in for a minute. Because he's a very, very good friend of mine. He's a coach and he's doing this health thing.
Come on.
So Horace, right? So let me tell you what Horace said, and Nate, you already know. I love to dress, and I know Boo is a go-go man, so he got that little swag a little different, but
That's what it's saying.
You know how we
Conservative
roll.
office speech.
Right.
Yeah.
So no, when I say that, I'm talking about. I get into this fashion, and I remember Hart saying to me, Rodney, yo, I wore my shirt out because of my stomach.
Now you getting see this man right here.
Now we getting honest.
Now this man is getting gut on.
Now he shame.
But you know something. We talked about that. Why lie to yourself when huh?
Tuck it in, right?
Hey,
Tuck it in.
Hey, Faustine, what you say?
I'm sorry.
She said, "Stop hiding it."
No, but the only thing I'm saying is, again, like he was saying, is deceit. You know, you're deceiving yourself just because we wear a longer shirt to cover it. It's still being seen.
Right.
You can't hide it.
That
When we come out of that's a denial. That part is denial.
Yep.
So it's
Yes.
just like a brief process. When you make a decision to do something, you have to go through each stage emotionally, each step emotionally. Now you're in the admittance. I accept it. Accept. Okay, I accept. This is what I got. Now what am I going to do? And at the end of the day, you got to stick to what you say you're going to do until you see results.
So I suggest.
You got to know a thing. So that was good. Admittance first.
Yeah.
Fix it. You got to know.
That's right.
well, honestly,
But I suggested. I don't know. I know y'all tight. You and Rodney them, Charles. But I think Faustine should be Rodney's coach. Cause I think she right on.
Hey, no. And I'm gonna say this throughout just the guests that we have on the program today. Andrea, I when I met you, I remember, and I remember asking, do you work out?
Yeah.
And I see that.
See the results.
I see the results.
Yeah. She got the
I was
gun.
gonna say,
Go ahead, Sean.
I think I was,
Look at this.
So, but I mean, even at that point, I think I still was probably about maybe 20 or 30 pounds heavier than when I met you last year. And it was because I had just started back to that journey and getting myself back right. I had gone through some stuff. I had fallen off of my health wagon at that point, and had just really started like getting back into it to the point to where it was something that I was passionate about again. Because at one point in time, my health stuff and my fitness stuff, it kind of came a point of resentment because I had fallen away from it, and it was easier to be angry about it and to start to make those excuses and to lie to myself that, oh, you don't need that, like you're okay not doing it. But the thing is that I am so much happier now. I'm right, and like sitting there, and even just the difference between the weight from when I saw you last year to now, like I sit there, I outrun my 16-year-old daughter who's in Marine Corps JROTC, and I'm trying to get her to do the Marine Corps marathon and stuff with me, and she's like, no, Mom, I'm out. But I'm 41, and I sit there, and at 41, I am now in the best shape of my life. I feel fantastic physically and mentally, and it all started with an epiphany of, I can't make any more excuses for myself. What are the steps? Am I willing to make the changes for myself? And what do I need to do to get there? And what support system do I need to put in place to be there? And it doesn't have to be a paid coach. It could just be a best friend or a significant other or some random person at the gym that you look up to and admire because they're in there and they're doing it and they're willing to say, what do you need from me? I'm the first person to see the confused person in the gym at the equipment to walk over and say, can I show you how to use this?
Okay.
Because I don't want them to leave and not come back, because their health is important to their family, and it's important to me because it's my community.
Right.
So, it's all one big connected circle. And so it doesn't matter if you don't know that person, that one moment to where you go and you help them could be that moment that they need, that I found myself at, that took me way too long to get there because I didn't have support or anyone who was my cheerleader cheering me on to do the things that I knew I needed to do for myself, but I wasn't strong enough to do it until I reached rock bottom and had to drag myself up. And then I found the cheerleaders along the way that were the right ones.
I'm glad you said something about family, because when we talk about wealth, right? wealth is a dichotomy that is shared, right? Wealthy people that hoard that money are called hoarders. They're not wealthy, they're hoarders. So the more healthier I am, the more I am available to my family. And a whole different class of person, right? Like I got a grandson that plays basketball. If I can't get out there and shoot hoops with him, right? And show him some of the things that I know, I can't go to his game and complain about him not doing those things.
No.
Right?
Right.
I got daughters that run track. If I can't go to the track with you and line up and run with you and do some of those things, then I can't go and help you become a better track runner.
I don't care how much plants you eat. In one state, you ain't gonna be able to go out there with them. I don't get.
Well, I mean, but that could be prolonged, though, those terms.
Right,
because I'm gonna tell you, man, my grandfather was a very healthy eater, and I used to make money off him when I was a teenager.
See,
I would bet my friends, because we had four-foot fences in our neighborhood.
You say you gonna jump.
And I would bet that my grandfather can go 10 houses over those hurdles, because he ran hurdles, faster than you could. And they say, I bet you $1. I had 10 kids lined up, I got $10. Because I know granddad going to get him every time. Because they see this old dude, 70 years old, and they 15, 13, and they figured, oh, there's no way this old man going to beat me.
So now with that being said, and going back to your wealth and everything else, those memories that you have with your granddad and your granddad's health, those things are priceless.
Yes.
And those things are the things that you carry on. I want to remember that, the things that I've done. You want to remember the track meets, the basketball games. And those are memories, wealth that you are giving your family members, whether they're your siblings, whether they're your parents, your grandparents, your kids, your grandkids. You're giving them time. Time is invaluable because once you give it away, you can't take it back, and that is the most valuable, precious thing.
So that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about your health and your wealth, so you can, like Nate said, so you can be here a little bit longer and do a little bit more things while you're here.
Even if you're not here longer, you can have a higher quality of life while you're here.
Right.
We don't know the end date, but we know today I can be better.
And I want to say this: if anybody needs somebody to crack that whip, Faustine,
hey, Faustine
King.
Faustine, you don't put fear in this over here now, because Boo's already saying, he's saying, yo, put the whip to me. But I'm gonna tell you something. She's like that. Charles is like that, and Andrea, as I've known her, I've seen her, and I've seen the results. I do want to go back to say this for all the viewers. We bring these individuals in to help you. We have people to come. All of us need help, and that's one of the things we talked about. What did you talk about yesterday when you said? You said about
people who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
And then we got to get past the pride.
We got to get past the pride.
We got to get past the pride and learn how to reach out and ask for help. I'm going to be honest with you. I struggle again when I undress at night, when I'm going to the shower. Take a shower every night, and every night I look at my stomach. And honestly, alone by myself, I feel like I'm letting myself down.
Well, the king said if you don't like the king's in the building. The king said if you don't like it, do something about it.
And I understand.
And it's not remove the mirrors. How many people do that? How many people
all the time.
remove the full length mirrors out of their house that they only see from here up? And it's like, okay, well, if I can't see the problem, it's not a problem.
Right.
Lying to yourself.
So, but again, this is what it's all about.
That's right.
With different people, I'm talking on all areas when you're trying to do some things to change your life. We're talking about that. Your health is your wealth, and that's what's important. And I'm really excited about this because I'm feeling like right now I have something to prove to me.
Well, it's about carrots. That's the character portion.
That's your thing,
that we need to talk about for a moment, right? Because we can identify, we can be honest that it exists, but can we get into that part when we actually do something, right? And courage is going on in spite of, right?
That mean when you don't feel like it,
Right,
when you don't,
right.
when you want a cake or you want something that's
You gotta have the courage to do something different,
But the
right?
thing is,
Or
is
you gotta
don't-
have the courage to actually start.
Yeah. So, and the thing is, and I think everybody also else needs to hear this, is that just because you start this lifestyle change, it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy life.
Right.
I mean, I have with my training regimen, I have cheat meals, I have cheat days. You know, I have things that I can go out and I can do. So if I want to eat the stuff, but now that I've lived this way for so long, my cheats are different.
Yeah.
And because physically, when I first started, I wanted that milkshake, I wanted that cupcake, I wanted that slice of cheesecake. I wanted all of those things that I had before because of that sugar addiction or the carbs or whatever. But then eventually you start to change. And eventually it gets to the point to where you want different things. It morphs into something different, and now your lifestyle is different, your wants and your needs are different, and it's just, it all comes together. And so, and then you miss that. You miss the routine, you miss eating, you hate feeling bad. And so you don't do it. So
can I tell you what I mean? You say, well, in layman terms, and to sum it all up, she said, we get into practicing something new that we've been taught by somebody, right? And we're doing the things in the beginning that we really don't want to do, but we do it long enough that our want to do's change.
Yeah, yeah. You know, there's an old saying that, you know, had I known that I would want that in the beginning, I would have did the things to get there all the time.
a lot
Right.
sooner, yeah.
A lot sooner. But I want to challenge these three gut men right here.
Okay, because I'm glad you
Right?
said that.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
because I'm going to tell you this right
Okay.
now. The last thing I want to be is a hypocrite.
Okay.
So
Right.
the 3GM,
Okay.
the 3GM
So if I'm
bringing up,
giving out information
Nation.
yeah,
and not applying it to myself,
that's hypocritical.
hypocritical. So they say, if what you say is not what, if what you preach, what do we say? If what you teach,
It's not.
If you ain't doing it, just a speech.
right? Yeah, it's just a speech.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a speaker. I'd rather be a teacher.
Yeah.
I'd rather be an example of the power as opposed to a power of the example. Right? So I'm going to challenge.
Come on,
I'm
Chris.
going
Go
to
ahead.
challenge
Go ahead.
my three stomach brothers here that we
The 3GM.
start a regimen of a few things. One, be honest, like you started today. Be honest with ourselves about our situation. Get some help. We got folks on the line, folks in person. We know folk.
Yeah.
To get some help with starting us on the healthy regimen. And then the three of us, because we encourage ourselves daily in a lot of ways
Yes.
already.
Yes.
On a spiritual note.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
To
but
take that out, to take that out into a realm for us to encourage ourselves healthy towards that health, wealth, peace.
because I love you guys, I want y'all to be around, and I want to be around too.
Yeah.
Just a little bit longer.
Well, I don't know if you're gonna be around long, but I want you to be around better. You know what I'm saying? I want better days.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I like quality of my days.
I cannot control the two dates on your tombstone. That's God's.
You want the
business.
slash to be
That
better.
dash in the middle.
To be better.
Yeah, I wanted to be better.
Well, I can say this. First of all, making a commitment to my God first, because I pray over everything. I thank Him for the opportunity to have another day, right? And then I make the commitment to myself. This is my temple. This is what I have to take care of, and I got to be conscious and be responsible for what I put in it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. I used to smoke. I just smoked a cigar a couple of days ago, but I hadn't smoked one since October, and I didn't feel good when I did it.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that I didn't feel good when I looked in the mirror, and I'm at a point that when I said I was going to get in trouble, the wife and I, we were talking about it, and I was saying collectively, we have to be responsible for what we're doing. So, would you call us the three what?
3 GM, the 3 gut man.
The 3 gut man. So I said
2.5 gut.
But check this out. So publicly, and I'm telling you right now, Simplify, once a Marine, always Marine. I'm accepting the challenge to tell you now that I am getting ready. You want to call yourself the half a gut? I'm gonna call myself no gut. Yeah. So we get ready to see what happened. Andrea, you gonna be getting a phone call from me because we're gonna talk after this because I now since you said that I would like to be encouraged by you as well. Charles and Faustine, I thank y'all so much. Now I'm not saying get off the phone. I just want to say publicly I thank you because y'all already have started to introduce me to things that's helping me change my way of living.
And for the audience. Take a look at this. The gift ain't always gonna be wrapped up in pretty bowls and a whole lot of extra thrills and drills. And the best help I ever got was one thing was no help, and I mean that in a way that somebody didn't keep on feeding my nonsense or whatever. And the next help was people gave me the truth. Give me the truth. I'd rather take the truth, even though it's like casserole sometimes. It don't taste good.
Don't taste good going down.
Yeah, but
the results coming out a little bit better. Yeah.
And so you know what? This is a good thing. Again, I like to go to the audience because I want them to feel a part of.
Yeah. And I like to say this too. My gut is. I can use excuses and say my gut is hard. That might be even worse.
That's that 30 pounds of poo.
That's that
Figo man.
You're full of, you know what?
You say 25 pounds of SHIT, did you? Hey, but you know something? It's a lot of people out there who are probably in worse shape than we are, and this is not to make you feel bad. You got to understand, you are who you are, and it's not about just the fact that you trying to mimic to be somebody else. You got to just want to be healthy. That's all right. Not everybody was made to be 170 pounds, 100. We got people who weigh 250 pounds that are in good shape.
Well, and that's like me. If you look at the BMI scale that is in every doctor's office, for my 5'2", it tells me in order to be in my healthy range, it's somewhere between like 115 and like 130 or something like that. That's not me. I'm not built that way. I am the athletic build. I'm the gymnast build with the big legs that always has problems finding pants that fit in the thighs but not the waist and all this other stuff. And so, but if they were to do something like a pinch test or whatever, then I'm fit and I'm in shape. I got so sick and tired of going to the doctor and having them tell me, like on the thing for the problems, just because of my weight, that I was obese. And I'm like, I am not. Because even like now, I weigh between 145 and 150 on an average day. And for me, if I go to the doctor's office, according to their little chart that they try and box people in, that's not healthy for me. But this is where I feel the best, and I'm in shape, and I have more muscle than fat. So I'm doing something right, and they can take their chart and they can burn it, they can shove it, they can do whatever they want with it, because not everybody's gonna shove it. They can do whatever they want with it, because not everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing. How you said other people are in worse shape, and that's okay. But what we need to do is focus on
self. That's right. That's right.
On the man in the mirror.
Come on, Charlie.
Take a look at yourself. Because when you start focusing on other people, that's when you make mistakes for yourself.
And see, Charlie, you talking, Charlie?
You need to know you at that point.
Yeah.
So,
that man in deep mirror.
When I went to the gym, I didn't care how big somebody was, and I didn't care how fit somebody was. I focused on what I needed to focus on. But when I look at everybody in the gym, I'm like, man, go ahead, do your thing, man. I didn't care. It's because I think people talk. And that's what we gotta do is, like I said, if not now, then when?
Hey Charles.
Take that first step.
Hey Charles, I'm
We
gonna
got
Hey,
get
another
we gotta call him. We
I'm
gotta
gonna get
hold.
your number, Charles.
Y'all hold on. Don't go nowhere.
I like Charles.
Okay.
All right, we got another call. Just a moment. Hey, caller, you with Man in the Mirror?
Peace and blessings.
Peace and blessings.
In the mirror, this is Ashika. This is Rodney's niece. How
Hey,
girl
Jacob.
doing?
How you doing?
Hey,
Hey, Chica, hold on.
what happened?
No, we got him coming. We got everybody on now. Go ahead, Chica.
Okay, perfect. So I just caught the tail end of this conversation, but what I wanted to say is I've been struggling like with my weight, but I'm noticing a lot of things are due to stress. A lot of things are to when you compare and contrast yourself to somebody
Come
else.
on.
It's not only about the man in the mirror; it's about the woman in the mirror. It's about us in the mirror as a reflection, like what we want to see when we get up in the morning, what we want to see when we go into an office, right? And it's all spiritual as well. So I just wanted to call, give a little tidbit, and let y'all know, hey, I'm listening, I'm out here. But a lot of us just struggle because of stress, and stress like hides itself in the body. It's terrible.
Yep, we were talking about the wealth of mental health.
Yeah.
So, you
The
know,
mentality of health.
yeah, when you are honest with yourself and look in that mirror and deal with yourself in a narrow focused way, the outside elements don't encroach on you. You know, because if you're comparing yourself to others, you're never going to meet the mark that you're trying to get because you haven't set a mark for yourself.
See, now check this out. Rodney, you a man of God, right? You believe in God's word.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm gonna give you one that a lot of people don't know about. It says, a man that compares himself to another man is unwise. That's strictly what
Very
the
much.
scripture. That's
Very
what it
much
says.
so.
Because and Charles hit it though, and it's not getting on nobody, but it's all a part of what you said. It's all a part of learning, all a part of somebody guiding me. Because I do groups where I work at, right? So I work in the substance abuse field, and when I do groups, I have certain things that I do in the group. Nate be speaking sometimes, so he knows certain things that I do in the group. I tell them that one of the things that just in same category as this. I tell them there's three things that we govern the group by. This is the foundation of how we structure the group. We respect each other. We want to share. We raise our hands. And last, most important, when we share, use I statements. Talk about yourself.
Yeah.
And man, and it's something. It's not easy. See, a lot of people don't understand. We do this just like you said about eating the foods. It's natural, became a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle for human beings, untrained, to look at other people.
Oh, it's a lifestyle choice. It's a part of who we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we spend so much time trying to mimic and be like others that we stress ourselves out and we go in the opposite direction. Right? Because we're not being what? Honest with ourselves.
Hey, so let me say this, and Charles and Faustine, because both of y'all are military, right?
That's where it gets at, bro. It's just
Okay.
That makes it easier.
Yeah.
No, let me say this. When I was in the Marine Corps, when I first get in, I didn't know I could do 20 pull-ups.
Right.
I didn't know I could do 80 sit-ups. I didn't know I could run 3 miles in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The mind had to be programmed and set.
But he had to do it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did it before, and it's set in mind.
Yeah. Right. Right.
So
made it do
there
it.
you go.
lived your way into a new way of
Right.
thinking.
So my point I wanted to make was, I didn't know in the beginning. When I went there and they started to program me, which was the help that I needed,
Making you do the things
the things that my mind said told me I couldn't do.
Yeah. They didn't say sit back and get your mind right and do it in your mind.
No, they said
They started making you do it.
They said run. They said do the pull-ups, do the sit-ups. And the more and more I start to do it, and it became something that was redundant,
It became a part of your
It
life.
became a part of-
It's a part of you, and it's just like
Your lifestyle.
it's just like for me, you know, I sit there and I push myself in the gym, and I think that I push myself harder or whatever, and then I found out earlier this week, I'm sure you may have seen my post that I made about my legs were dead. I went and I trained with somebody new, and he shook it up, and he had me doing like supersets of like 3 different exercises that started with a rep range of 80 on drop sets, and I didn't think I could push anymore. And when I thought that I couldn't push anymore, he was there for the assistance to finish it, to get me to that finish line, and to give me that kick in the butt. Now, I look like Bambi on ice when I was getting ready to walk out of the gym because I thought cute me could wear a sundress and heels after that.
It was like Charles.
It was a bad idea. But with that being said, I had somebody there who thought differently than me, still had a fitness background, who pushed me to do better, who pushed me to do more, and who knew that when I said I was done, I had more in me.
Right.
And so that's finding those people in your life to be that person that knows that you have it in you, and then stop comparing yourself. Like, that's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Compare yourself to the best version that you want to be for yourself. You can be better tomorrow than you were today, and in 20 days and 30 days you can be better than the person the day that you started, but only compare yourself to you. Because if you sit there and you look in this world and day and age of, you know, women have to be this big around, and if you're not, then it, you know, it is whatever, between, you know, commercialized, you know, fashion and everything else. I never will fit in a size 2 and walk a runway. It's not going to happen. If I constantly compare myself to that, the only thing that I'm doing is I'm mentally tearing myself down, and I'm setting myself up for failure, because that's something that I never can attain because I don't have that body type.
Right.
My opponent is in the mirror.
Would you wait a minute?
Say it again. Hold on. Say it again.
My opponent is in the mirror.
Yeah.
What you see?
It's me.
It's you. Go ahead, Faustine.
No, I was going to say this, and I think we had this conversation last Sunday about comparing. The thing about whatever you see, the best results or whatever, you don't know what somebody, what their commitment and what they did to get to where they are. And I think I used a illustration when we were in the military, and how we had to spit shine those shoes.
Yes,
but
yes.
we had to put some effort in there with shining those shoes and putting the time. And that's what you have to do when you try to get rid of that body weight or whatever. You got to sit there and put the time in. And when we put the time in with those spit shine shoes, you can see your face in the mirror. And when you see your face in the mirror this time, it's going to be a new person.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say this to you guys is this. I don't see y'all as 3 men pop belly. I see you guys as ice men, because number one, when you say you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it, because an ice man is number one, a man of integrity, a man of character, and a man of ethics. So y'all gonna be the ice men that come up there. The next time we see y'all, give you 30 days. Their belly be gone. I'm just joking.
No.
I told y'all.
It might take more than 30 days.
I told you, Faustine like a pit bull. Hey, but you know what?
Hey, you gotta look at this too. If you let's look at percentage.
Yeah.
If you can improve, if you get started first, that's the first thing, and then you improve yourself by 1% every day.
That's
1%,
game.
That's not a lot to ask. In 100 days, you'll be at 100%. It'll be a habit for you in 100 days, and you can keep moving forward from there.
I told you I gotta call you, Charles. I gotta get your numbers, okay? If that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, well, again, for all the viewers that been watching the program, all the viewers that's going to view the program later, excuse me, please sit back and look in the mirror, as the guests have already shared. Don't try to compare yourself with your neighbor or your cousin, friend, brother, sister, or just the person on your job or somebody you think that look good. Accept you for who you are, and put yourself in a position where you accept the truth that you got there because of who you are. As you said, you got to tell the truth. I can't blame nobody else because of my gut. I can't even blame my wife. I wasn't gonna blame my wife. I'm gonna tell you what that was. I got comfortable and I got lazy. I got comfortable and lazy. When I was in the time when I was trying to recruit her, I was still doing sit-ups.
Well, what is that? It's that whole complacency kills. In this case, it does. When you become complacent in your life and you become complacent with your health, and you stop doing the things that you were doing before. For you, you know, you had the Marine Corps that said, this is exactly what you have to be. And then that carries on for so long. Well, when you didn't have that accountability that the Marine Corps made you have, and the accountability became on you, and that fell out to the wayside, then now find something that holds you accountable. And in this case, make yourself be accountable to yourself, and be accountable to her, because you know, you guys are a team, you guys are a partnership. And so with that being said, you know, hold yourself to that higher standard and that accountability, and stop the complacency. Like,
and can I address the elephant in the room? And it makes a better sex life.
It definitely helps.
Hey.
Let me just say this. You know, you got winners and losers. You got failures and success. Very seldom the truth comes out in failure that you had help failing.
Yeah.
Right? That's something you did yourself.
Yeah.
But very seldom does success come without help.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So you gotta get out of that piece that I know how to do this.
And you
because
did.
if you knew how to do it, you wouldn't be in a spot where you need to do it. You'd already be doing it.
Yeah. See, no one is doing.
Yeah.
No one is doing.
Knowing is one thing. Doing is something different.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, when you really know, you do.
Yeah.
I'm
do better, I do better.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited though. Again, I keep going back to what's going on right now. Is individuals like Andrea, Charles, and Faustine. Thank you for sharing, you know, what you're going through and how your process, because all of y'all have been really inspired me. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was beating myself up. Well,
you
really
know what
bad.
they say about that though, right?
What's that?
Take your foot out your ASS.
You need to walk.
Yeah,
you need to walk.
You're gonna need to walk.
And this might be that moment for you that I had in the dressing room at the department store shopping. This might be your moment that you sit there and you look back on, and how empowered you feel in the moment because of the support and the stories and having, you know, all of us here to sit here and to help push you along. And hold on to that, because that's momentum, and just keep it going.
So I'm gonna be funny a little bit, because Andrea, she pulling her hat back and her arm is cocking up over there, right? And let me tell you something. I'm sitting over here looking, and I'm saying to myself, Rodney, and you know you should be in shape. You know what I'm saying? and nothing against the women. You know, here I got a woman over here. She got some cannons, and you know, but no, I say that to be honestly.
You think you can beat in the arm wrestle?
I you know what? I ain't embarrassing myself, because look, she been in the gym. And I remember not long ago I did that with my grandson, and I got down to do man, and he slammed my arm, and I was thinking in my mind when he said, and how old is Xavier? Xavier about 15, right? And I already thought, I said, I'm getting ready to punish him. He was like, come on, Pops, come on. I said, no, come on. And when he did it, man, I mean, he almost popped the little joint over here. And I was like, and I didn't even tell nobody. I left the living room a little embarrassed, right?
You're doing this number.
It was still hurting. But
I almost took Pop's arm off.
Yeah, you see me snatch that limb out there. Snatch the limb off that joke.
It's people out there again, and when we do this, we have these programs, and this is the show that matters. I'm telling you, this is really, really serious. We're talking about your health is your wealth. Everything that you heard, we asking you to go back and you to watch the program again, to listen to Andrea, listen to Faustine and Charles, the information that they shared. This is a gift.
See, Faustine said what Nate was alluding to it, but Faustine said we're gonna go but we ain't gotta go like that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't go like that.
Well, you know what though?
I don't want the piano casket. I want the slim box.
Yeah,
It's
But-
cheaper.
It's cheaper.
My family already collects some money. You know what I'm saying?
I'm excited now that Nathan said something and boo. So, y'all know what we do. See, they be on here. They be putting some inspiring stuff on.
Well, let me cut you off.
Go ahead.
Some time ago, I challenged the boys to some push-ups. Remember that?
That was see when you get old films, you
Uh-huh.
don't want to be on the old films. Like, I want to do
You
it.
challenge
just
him.
I challenge you.
You didn't challenge me.
I did.
You don't want to go
Wait,
to
wait, wait,
archives.
hold.
We're going to archives to pull it out now.
Yeah,
We
wait, hold on.
save all of them.
Yeah,
I challenge you, man.
Lord.
I challenge you, and we
We
never
was in
did
the other
it.
studio then.
We was in our studio,
Oh, we
and we
were-
never did it.
Well, I look.
But here's the thing: I don't want to challenge you. I want to support you, just like I want
Okay.
you to support me.
Right. That's why I was.
We want to support
boo.
Mr. Stomach over there.
No, you
So-
know something.
So now I'm the king of the stuff.
He is Stomach.
Yeah.
Since you threw me in the bus, you know what I'm
But-
saying?
but you know
We'll
what I-
roll the tire over you.
You know what I like about this though, seriously, and I think this is just getting ready to happen again as our guests have given us inspiration, but because of the way we look out for each other on Man in the Mirror, the inspiration and everything, what you just the challenge is not a challenge, it's encouragement.
Yeah.
And the same thing, you know, we want to be able to do this for
Well,
years
one
to
thing
come.
I can say about these guys, and she was talking about it earlier, Miss Faustine too. She was saying about the integrity. She was giving us some hope. So you know the guys do got integrity. So I know they're not just talkers,
Right.
but that don't mean we become perfect because just because
Right.
they get
Yeah.
the push up last
Right.
time. But
Sometimes some healthy competition is a good thing.
It's
Yeah.
Especially
Oh wait,
when the
I'm
foot
already.
help.
I'm letting y'all
Especially
know
when
right
the foot
now.
help.
I'm letting y'all know right now. I'm taking this a little bit personal because I want to be able to tuck my shirt in, and this ain't got nothing to do with Charles. This ain't got nothing to do with Nate, and this ain't got nothing to do with Boo Jones. This got everything to do with Rodney Grimes.
And who was that? Who was that? When he's the what? The man in the what?
The man in the mirror.
That's right.
And, but you know something also is for that lady that I was talking to riding over, and I was asking, do you see me the way you used to see me when you first met me? And she started laughing and said, I love you anyway. And
So what she really was saying was, I see you, I just see more of you.
Hey, look, no. This is the real truth. This is the real truth. Loving eyes don't see. Loving eyes don't see.
Yeah.
oh no, they overlooked
Loving
it.
eyes don't see.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look.
Well, they see, they just the
You
mouth
ever see?
telling mouth.
Nah,
ain't
you ever
gonna
see
tell you.
Hallow?
Hello, how?
Yeah, that guy.
Uh-huh.
Oh, shallow house.
Shallow Hal. So you remember in his eyes, she looked like a beauty queen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know,
Everybody else, she emptied the pool out when she jumped in.
loving eyes. So you know, we
Well-
man, we it was
I
once
just want
again,
to put
great
this
show.
out there real quick because I know for me, not starting, I've always been able to say, okay, I'm gonna start it this day.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna do it that way. So my health issues have got me to a point where I had to be plant based in some ways, right? I'm not giving up my meat because I'm allergic to seafood.
Yeah.
It's physical ailments, so I can't eat. I'm
That's
allergic to iodine and sulfur,
Yeah.
which is in everything that comes out of the
Pretty
water.
much everything, yeah.
Right? So I can't digest any of that. I've had 2 feet of my intestines removed, half my stomach, and that's all because of injuries and stuff like that. So what I've done is meal replacements was a good start.
Yep.
Right? Something easy. So I'm gonna introduce you guys to cassava. And what I'm gonna do, it's very expensive in some ways. To me it's not, because it allows me not to buy that other stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give each one of you a bag of cassava.
Okay.
That's a 30-day meal replacement, right? Twice a day.
Wow.
All right? I ain't gonna tell you how much the bags cost, but they're expensive as hell. But I'm gonna give one to you, right? Each one of you, and I'm gonna challenge you to replace a meal a day with the cassava.
Okay, so check this out. Thank you first. Thank you. And your show is next month. So we'll be back here next month. and we'll see
How that go?
some of the results of anybody putting in work. But what we will do, and we're gonna make this statement, right? We're gonna support one another through each day of this process as much as we can.
Yeah.
So-
I'm gonna text you and say, because you know I give you the spiritual Jones anyway.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you how you can child do.
But hey,
Right?
But first you gotta show me how to cook it too.
No, it's not a cookie.
It's a shake.
It's a shake.
Oh,
you can even put it in water
I don't know.
or mixed fruit or whatever.
I'm thinking
The
about
way I do it, if I'm in a hurry, you just put it in water, shake it out, drink it. Boom.
Okay.
That's it. Now I ain't gotta eat breakfast.
well, hey, we've been, you know, they say how time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, we down to the last couple of minutes. What I would like for our guests to do, first,
quick
I
one
would like for you to share something so you can look into that camera right there.
One liner.
And go ahead and
Give us how people can contact you and give us a word out.
So I'll go ahead and I'll give Rodney the stuff as far as for contacting me via social media and stuff. But my name's Andrea Elliott. You can find me on all the platforms. But do better for yourself. Do better for your kids. Do better for your family. Reach out for the support. I'm here to help if you guys need it. And I look forward to hearing the stories of progress and being there to help be the support, whether it's for whoever decides to reach out or for any of these three gentlemen over here. I'll be sitting there sending you guys text messages saying, what are we doing?
Can I see it?
Are we
Can
doing
we see it?
that?
Can we see it? See the guns.
Alright, King family.
The Kings in the building.
Last word.
Y'all got the last
Tell me
word.
how you feeling.
Look, I'm loving this platform right here, and you know, we just want, like you said, health is your wealth,
That's right.
and we just want to see everybody just be successful in this. But in order to be successful, you got to get started.
That's right.
So we just want everybody to stay blessed, to stay healthy, and I just want to say, just be honest with the man or woman in the mirror.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Uh,
Hey, look,
I love
that's a stick that landed was stuck.
Yeah.
So to our viewers, we got 30 days, and we'll be right back here, God willing, and we're doing another great show, and we're putting Nate on the hot seat, and on the three gut men will change their name.
Which he said, what you
90
call it?
days.
She called us the Iceman.
And I say, the mark of 90 days, the three gut men should retire their sign.
Or at
And
least
change-
be the three half gut men.
There you go.
Well, it won't be the three gut men.
Eventually, that's the goal.
And we just want to say again, thank you everybody that joined in. It's the man in the mirror.
That's
The
right.
show
The
that-
show that matters. That's right.
Thank
So
you.
we out.
Yeah, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Faustine and
That's a
Charles.
wrap.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Roger
joining in.
that.
We appreciate you.
Get y'all
Thank you
back.
guys. Thank you guys.
All right.